Hi students, welcome you all for this wonderful session. In this session, we are going to learn function, chapter 1 function. So already you are all very familiar with the term called function. So what is function? These are all the contents we are going to discuss today. What is function? Function with respect to the programming language, parameter and arguments, parameter without type, parameter with type, interpretation and implementation, pure function, impure function and side effects. These are all the contents we are going to discuss today. First of all, before enter into the subject or into the contents, you have to know function, but you have already learned what is function, what are the types of functions are there in your 11th standard itself. Function, it is a small subroutine. It is called a small subroutine that is designed for doing some particular task. That is what called as function. In programming language, the subroutines are called as function. So, subroutines are the basic building blocks of computer programs. Subroutines are small sections of code that are used to perform a particular task. For what purpose we are using function? To perform a particular task only, we are going to use function. In programming languages, these subroutines are called as functions. And next one is function with respect to the programming language. How the function is treated in programming language. That is what the literal meaning of this one. A function is a unit of code that is often defined within a greater structure. Specifically, a function contains a set of actions, set of codes that works on many kinds of inputs, variants, expressions, etc. And that produces a concrete output. That is what called as function with respect to the programming language. Next one, we are going to see parameter and arguments. What is parameter? What is argument? Parameter are the variables inside a function definition. If you are going to declare a function, or if you are going to create a function with the parameter within the braces, if you are giving int a comma int b, that is what called as parameter. Arguments are nothing but what is the value or what are the values you are going to pass for the parameter, that is what called as argument. Yes, parameter are the variables in the function definition and arguments are the values which are passed to the function definition. That is what called as parameter and argument. Now we are going to see parameter without type. See here, how can we identify function in this syntax? It is very simple. This is just like a mathematical form. It is very close to mathematical form. In this close mathematical form, when a line starts with the keyword let, that should be function for the syntax. So here this one is known as syntax, and this line is known as function for this syntax. If the function followed by the keyword called rec, that should be known as recursive function, and after that it should be followed by the name of the function and the parameter. So here there is no type for this parameter. There is no type, which means there is no data type for this variable. That is what called as parameter without type. Here this is what called requires. I need b should be greater than or equal to 0. It should be greater than or equal to 0. If b is not equal to or greater than 0, I didn't get anything from this syntax. Returns what it should return, a to the power of b, that is what it is going to return, and this is called function. If a line starts with the keyword called let, that should be known as function for the syntax or the program. If the same line has another keyword called rec, that should be known as recursive function, and it should followed by the name of the function and the arguments. See here, there is no explicit data types for this syntax. They didn't give any data types explicitly. That is what parameter without type. Next one is parameter with type. The same syntax they have used here. Requires b should greater than 0. B should greater than 0 returns a to the power of b. It should return a to the power of b. A is going to be power of b, and here let rec, so it should, it convey as let, because of giving let. This is the function for this entire syntax. Because of giving rec, it should be known as a recursive function followed by the name of the function power, and this is what known as with type. Here simply we can live with annotations alone. Annotations are nothing, a and b alone. We can leave a and b alone, but here they are giving explicitly the data type for the annotations. Why? For avoiding the confusion for the compiler, they are giving the data type for this annotations. And next one, if b is equal to 0, then it should return 1. Else, if the value of b is greater than 0, it should return this formula. This is what parameter with type. Next one is interface and implementation. So what is interface and what is implementation? Interface is nothing. An interface is a set of actions that an object can do. For example, when you press a light switch, the light goes on. You may not have caught how to flash it. When you switch on the light switch, the light splashed on. The light goes on. But you need not to know how it splashed. That is what called as implementation. If an object can do, that is what called as interface. In object oriented programming language, an interface is a description of all functions. In an object oriented programming language, an interface is a description of all functions that a class must have in order to be a new interface. In our example, anything acts like a light should have function definitions like turn on and turn off. And next one is the difference between interface and implementation. Interface just defines what an object can do but won't actually do it. Interface, it is nothing. It is going to define what an object can do, but it is not going to do that. Implementation carries out the instruction defined in the interface. What are the instructions defined within the interface that should be carried out by the implementation? That is what known as implementation here. And next one is characteristics of interface. What are the characteristics are there for the interface? The class templates specifies the interfaces to enable an object to be created and operated properly. The interface is going to define, the class template specifies the interfaces to enable an object to be created and operated properly. That is the first characteristic of interface. The second one is an object's attributes and behavior is controlled by sending functions to the object. We can control the object's attributes and behavior by sending functions to the object. That is the second characteristic of interface. And next one is pure function. Pure function, it is nothing. The pure functions are functions which will give exact result when the same parameter are passed. Arguments are passed. Whenever you are going to pass the same arguments to the function, if the function produce the exact result again and again, that function should be known as pure function. The pure function solely depend on its arguments. The pure function solely depend on its arguments passed. What are all the times that is not, what are all the arguments you are going to pass to the function? How many times you are going to pass for the same, for the function for the same value? It should return the exact value, the same value again and again. If the function produce the same value again and again, that function should be known as pure function. For example, strlen, string length. The string length is called as pure function. Why the string length is called as pure function? Because each and every time you are going to pass the same arguments for the strlen function, for all the time the strlen function is going to produce the same result again and again. That's why it is known as pure function. Another example, in your book they have given, let square x return x into x. Let return x into x. Square is the function name. Let is defines as, that should be a function. X is the parameter. For the parameter we are going to pass the argument x into x, return x into x. For how many times you are going to produce the same, you are going to give the same value for the variable x, it should produce the exact value. It should produce the exact value of an output for the x, so that it is also known as pure function. Next one is impure function. What is impure function? The variable used inside the function may cause side effects, though the function which are not passed with any arguments. In such cases, function is called as impure function. For the function, we are not passing any values. It gives side effects for the function. In such cases, the function is called as impure function. When a function depends on variable or function defined outside of its block, at that time you can never be sure that the function is same. The function will behave the same of every time. It is called. In this situation, the function should be known as impure function. The best example for function, impure function, is random. Random is it is not a user defined function. Random is a built-in function in our Python programming language. Whenever you are going to use random function for the 10 numbers, when you call the random function for the first time, it will pick out randomly any number from the 10 numbers. The second time you are going to use the same random function for the same 10 numbers. In this time it will pick up any number. It will pick any number from the any number from the 10 numbers. That is what called as impure function. That is the nature of a random function. This is what called as impure function. Next one is side effects. So what is side effects? As our function has side effects when it has observable interaction with the outside world. If a function has an interaction, if a function has an interaction with its outside world, at that time the function becomes impure function and it has some side effects. But the side effects is not a bad thing. The side effects, it is not a bad thing, it is a good thing. Sometimes it is a good thing, sometimes they are very useful, especially outside functional programming paradigm. Watch clearly. What is side effects? If a function has an interaction with its outside world, that has side effects. How can we uh, how can it say, how can we identify a pure function? How can we identify impure function, or how can we change a pure function into impure function? Let me give an example in your book, from your book. This is what the example of impure function or side effects. Let y is equal to 0, this is called as function. Y is equal to 0, int inc, see x, see here, int x they have declared here, and in this syntax the y has an interaction with outside its world. So in this place the value of y becomes changed. In this place the value of y becomes changed. If the value of a function has been changed from outside of its world, that has been known as side effects. So in this place the value of y has been changed, and here what is the value changed by y, that should be returned here. So that this one is known as side effects. Next one, we are going to see the difference between pure function and impure function. So pure function, the return value of the pure function solely depends on the arguments passed to the function. Hence, if you call the pure function with the same set of arguments, you will always get the same return values. They do not have any side effects, and you are not able to modify they do not modify the arguments which are passed to them. What is the value you are going to pass to the parameter by as arguments? They do not modify. Impure function does not solely depend on the arguments passed to it. Hence, if you call the impure function again and again, it will give different answers for every time calling. The best examples of impure functions are random and date, because each and every day the date has been changed. That's why best example for impure function is date as well as random. You are going to call 10 numbers randomly. First time it may pick the first number. When you're going to call the same function random, for the second time it will pick the third number or fifth number or 10th number, whatever it can call. And next one is they modify the arguments which are passed to them. This is the difference between pure function and impure function. This is a small example they have given. Let reg GCD of AB we have to find out. For that they have given a small condition. If is a condition, if B is not equal to 0, then GCD B A mod of B, else return A. In the above example, GCD is the name of the function which recursively, because of giving rec, it should be known as recursive function. It should be called recursively till the variable becomes 0. Till the variable becomes 0, the function should be called again and again, so that it will give different result. Chameleons of Chrome land problem using function. Already you know very well this one. You have learnt in your 11th standard in the lesson 6th. I mean chapter 6. From the chapter 6 you have learned this one already. So we have to solve this problem by function, by the recursive function, I think so. Yes, using function we have to solve this problem. Inputs are A is equal to capital A, B is equal to capital B, C is equal to capital C. And outputs A, B should become 0 and C becomes A plus B plus C. So this is what iteration. Three different colors of chameleons are there in the chrome land. A is equal to in A color 4 are there, in B color 4 are there, in C color 4 are there. So when two different color of chameleons meet each other, those different colors of chameleons becomes the third one. That is what the problem. This is what the iteration. This is the in this first iteration, the value of A is 4, value of B is 4, value of C is 6. Here they have to give 6, not a 4. They have made a small mistake here. Here you have to change as a 6. And when meet one from A and one from B, those two chameleons changed as the C. So here 6 becomes 8. Like this, it should change all the one of same color. That is what the main solution of this problem. This is what the function. Let rec monochromatize ABC. If A is greater than 0, then ABC is equal to A minus B, A minus 1, B minus 1 and C plus 2. So what is the number of chameleons from A and B minus, that should be included to C. Till A and B become 0, this action should be repeated. That's why they have given within a rec. So students, it is also such a small lesson. I hope you all understand this concept very well. If you have any doubts, make a note of it. After reopening the school, we will discuss the doubts. Thank you all.